Hello, my name is Richard Rodriguez and I will be your presenter today. I will present in this video on behalf of my team, the EFST team, for the 2009 spring. This group is composed of Liana Valdez, Haibin Guam, Punam Gupta, Pedro Espina, and myself, and is based on the 5-minute scalper strategy. For the starting point, we were tasked with developing a 5-minute scalper. This 5-minute scalper is based on the YouTube video by the Forest Signals channel depicted below, and you can find the URL on the screen as well. To better understand the strategy, we developed pseudocodes for first the system overview, which is shown on the right hand side. And after analyzing this, we had to do the subsystem overview, which goes into a little more detail. And finally, add the unit design, which again is shown on the right hand side, and this goes into more details about the functions that we'll be using. To further understand the strategy, we develop a decision tree. And why did we do that? Well, a decision tree aids in the workflow of the decision process. It basically delineates what actions are to be taken based on previous actions. So what are the steps to the strategy? First, get the trend. Second, if there is a trend, then get a trade signal. And finally, place an order. Before we go on to the code review, first we need to review what a free margin is. A margin can be classified as either a use or free. Use margin, which is just the aggregate of all the required margins from all open positions. Free margin is the difference between equity and use margin. Free margin refers to the equity in a trader's account that is not tied up in any margin for current open positions. Free margin is also known as usable margin because it's margin that you can use, therefore it's usable. So we can say the free margin is the money that we have available to open new orders. So now we'll go to the code review, and at the same time we'll look at the sequence diagram to see what's going on. So to begin with, I would like to go over the instance variables or parameters that we use. So for the anchor trade, to set the actual trend, we're going to use the H1 periods at 8 and 21. We'll use risk in order to set the orders to take profits. This will be used by take profit. These here we'll use just as placeholder for the current bars, as well as this one. For the signal, when we actually have a buy or a sell, we'll use the M5 periods in order to see what our trend looks like in the next 5 minutes. This will be used for the current bars. This will be used for error keeping just in case we get an error in one of the orders. The variables take profit 1 and take profit 2 will be used for the take profit strategies, as well as the stop trade and stop loss will be used for placing orders. Lots will be the default lots, and NM stands for our magic number that we'll be using for our specific EA. The risk factor for the PAP will begin at 1.0, and the pips will begin with a 3. We'll keep track of our previous time, and if we are using money management, that is when we check if we have enough funds available, we'll set that to true. The risk percent will begin at 2. The decrease factor, when our trades are not going according to our plans, they're going in a negative direction, will be 3. So to begin, we'll start on init. So on init, the first thing we do is we go into market, and then it returns. So market, and then it'll query a symbol, and then it returns. And then finally, we return back to the Forex broker. The next thing is going to be the start function. And for that, we go down here. The very first thing is we're going to print our trading strategy, and that is depicted right here. So it prints it and it returns. The next thing is we'll check an if condition. If get open orders is equal to 0, and to see what get open orders is, we'll go to that one. And basically, we are checking if there are any open orders available. So to begin, we set orders to 0, and then we're going to traverse all the different orders that we have in the system. This one will skip if the order is not trade-based. This one will skip as well by continuing to the next iteration if the symbol is not the symbol that we're looking for, or if the magic number is not our magic number. So when we reach this point, it means that it's our magic number and it is the symbol that we're trading in. So it'll add 1 to orders, and at the end, after all the iterations, it will return the number of orders. And we go back. So if that is 0, meaning that we don't have any orders in the system, then it will check account free margin to see if we have enough money available. If account free margin is less than 1,000 times lots, then we don't have enough money. So we'll print a message indicating so, and then we'll return. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to get our anchor trend. This is the one that we see for the strategy for the H1 period. So to go there, we're going to go to anchor trade. And these are the values that we had globally before. So we're going to calculate them now for the H1 periods at 8 and 21. And if we see, according to our strategy, that it's going on a downtrend, we're going to set anchor trend to be in the downtrend. If according to our strategy, this is going on the uptrend, we're going to set anchor trend to be uptrend. Otherwise, we're going to set our anchor trend to be no trend. And this will cause us to do no trades at all. So to go back, after that's done, then we're going to go into get trade signal. So that was the trend. And get trade signal using the anchor trend first. We're going to go into get trade signal. It's going to calculate those 3 AMAs for the period M5 at 8, 13, and 21 respectively. And that is done here in all of these. We're going to calculate our high, close, and low price of the current trend. And then based on the current trend, if you notice, these goes into this loop, into this body, if the trend is equal to downtrend. If the trend is equal to the uptrend, then we're going to go here. Otherwise, our trade signal is going to be no trade. That's looking at an overall level. However, when we're doing downtrend, so if we notice that our trend is still going down, and this has reached the indicator, then we're going to set our trade signal to sell. Otherwise, we're going to set our trade signal to be no trade because it can be in a cross. If we set our trend signal to be in an uptrend and we notice that the trend for the M5 is still going up and this has reached the indicator, then we're going to set our trade signal to be buy. Otherwise, we're going to set our trade signal equals to no trade. Otherwise, we're going to set our trade signal equals to no trade as well. And then we'll return. So upon returning, we do a print. And then we check on the trade. If the trade signal was on the sell, we're basically going to go into this body. If the trade signal was a buy, we're going to go into this body. And if the trade was a no trade, then it's not going to go into anywhere. Basically, this body and the one above are similar. It's just the calculations of the lowest and the highest are calculated differently according to the strategy. So to begin with, on the trade signal is equal to sell, we're going to get the lowest on the last 5, and then we're going to print another number, and then we'll return. The next thing is we're going to calculate our variables for the trade execution price, the stop loss. We're going to use risk in order to calculate our take profit 1, take profit 2, and then we'll place an order. The result for this order will go into ticket 1. Furthermore, for the lots, we'll be calculating a get optimized lots function. And to show you really quick what that does, basically we get our minimum lot based on the current trade operation, the maximum lot based on the trade operation again. We'll set our minimum lot and maximum lot to 0.01 and 20 highest. And lots in lowercase will be the value that we return as an optimized lots for our function. We'll get a copy of decrease factor, and we get the total number of orders. This value will set to 0, but we're going to use it only if we're using money management. So the first thing we do is we check on money management. We normalize the lots value, and then if the decrease factor is greater than 0, we're going to iterate through all the orders, but we're only going to select those that have a negative profit as shown here, and we're going to count those. We're going to add 1 into losses. At the end, after the for loop, if the losses is greater than 0, then we'll recalculate our lots variable. However, if we were not using money management, we'll set lots equals to the default lots, but we'll normalize that as well. Then we'll check the value of lots in lowercase to make sure that it's between minimum lots and maximum lots. So if the value of minimum lots is below the minimum lots, we'll set lots to be min lots, and if the value of min lots is greater than maximum lots, we'll set that to be equal to maximum lots, and then we'll return. So upon returning, we'll get the value of the order return value into ticket 1 as seen here. So next we calculate if ticket 1 is less than 0, then we'll try again as we noticed before, and then we'll return. Next we'll do the same thing for the take profit 2. We'll send another order again with the same values, except take profit 2 is going to be different based on the calculation that we did before, and we'll get the value into ticket 2. Again, we'll calculate ticket 2. If the value is less, there was an error, then we'll try again and we'll return. As for the strategy, if we were using a 2-level strategy, then it's going to go into this body here. And basically what we're doing is we're just modifying the order. So if we were using the 2-level strategy, then on our first order, this one here, when it reaches the take profit, it will close automatically. So we will need to modify the second order to extend that, and that's what we do here. If we were using the trail stop, we're going to do something similar, except we'll have to recalculate the stop loss, the take profit, and we'll have to move it according to the last 3 bars, or the highest of the last 3 bars. And once we do that, then we'll issue an order modify. And that is shown in this bar on the trail up. As for the other part, the trade signal, when it is a buy, first we'll calculate the highest. We'll do a printout again. We'll calculate our variables that we'll be using to place the orders for the take profit 1, take profit 2 as well. We'll place the orders. We'll check if there's an error. If there's an error, we'll try it again and we'll return. When we did the one for the second order, we'll send it. If there's an error, we'll try again and then we'll return. And if the strategy was a 2 level, again, we'll modify the order because the first one's going to close. And so we'll have to modify the second one to move it up. And then we'll return. If the strategy was a trail stop, again, it'll modify the order accordingly. And then it will return. And finally, we return. So I hope that this has been useful to you. If you have any questions regarding this product, you can contact our mentor and the product owner, Dr. Masood Sajadi. Thank you from the EFST team.